2 games tonight. First of all, we're going to start with Tokaido. This is a game I'm going to talk about very briefly because it's a game that I've been playing. I've recently bought back into my collection because to me,
it's like a collection type game.
it actually does have collection in it, but it is one of my favorite gateway games that I actually use to introduce people to the midweight. I say midweight games, just a light to midweight game. Tokaido was released in 2012, and it is designed by Antoine Boza and is the art by Xavier Duran. Okay, now what this game is, Tokaido is a game from 12 years ago, and the premise of it is that we are Japanese travelers, and we are traveling from Tokyo, from all the way from Tokaido to Tokyo, I believe, are the 2 cities. And the way that you play the game, and this is the game is a super simple game of it is played over 4 rounds, and each round represents a day, and each day you are traveling from an inn to another inn. Okay, but the way that it works is this game is very simple. Is the person at the back of the queue gets to move forward along the way, and they choose any spot between where they currently are and the inn at the end of the round. Okay?
So the Aussie reskin of this is a pub crawl.
Pretty much, you could absolutely you could do Blacktown pub crawl in Tokaido, right? But the way that it works is along the way that you score points is this game has got a bit of a point salad feel to it, which is that everything that you do scores you points, such as go to a hot spring, get some points, either 2 or 3. Go to the bank, get gold. Okay, if you get gold is points at the end of the game. Okay. Go to the temple where you can donate some of that gold. And every coin that you donate is worth points at the end of the game. Also, the person who donated the most amount of points in the game gets a bonus. Congratulations. Then there are 3 different artistry points where we are trying to paint the sea, the mountains, as well as the fields. And one is worth, the fields is only 3 cards long. The mountains is 4 and the sea is 5. And the first person to complete each of those paintings gets a bonus. But also every consecutive piece of the painting that you finish is worth more points. So the first piece is worth 1, the second piece is worth 2, the third piece is worth 3, so on and so forth. And then at the end of the day, when you go into the inn, you need to, you can also go shopping. I also didn't mention, so here's the set collection, which is that you can buy different pieces of your wardrobe. And for every complete outfit that you are able to complete, so a headpiece, an accessory, a garment, and some footwear, you get points. And then you go to the inn, and whatever money you have left over, you can then buy a meal. And basically, the way the first one in gets first choice of all the meals, and then you can take the cheap meal, and all of the meals are worth the same amount of points, right? Yeah. So then you rinse and repeat, and you do this. So the first one into the inn is always the last one out of the inn because you had the biggest meal, and therefore you slept in, and everyone's out before you. But the great thing about this game and why I love it so much is because it introduces the concept to people of you can move anywhere between these 2 points. You can skip.
So you can just go straight to the end.
Absolutely, you can. But if you do that, you just keep getting turns, right? So if we had 4 points, so for example, I had the bank, I have the shop, I have the hot springs, and I have the painting, and I really want to go to the painting, I can go straight to the painting, but I'm going to miss the 3 stops beforehand. Yeah. But Joel, if you decide that, you know what, I'm going to go to the bank, you can go to the bank. But then Ralph goes, I'll go 1 in front of you. So you 2 have just had a turn, but then you get another turn because you're still behind me in the line. The person at the back of the line.
What's the incentive to go to skip a location?
To get because you can never take a location that someone's already at. So if I'm already at a location, you cannot go there. First. Okay. Yeah. So if I go to the painting spot, and I know you really want the painting, I can go there, and then you have to wait till further along. Or more importantly, in this game, the bank is super important because it allows you to get money. And there's not a lot of things that get you.
So there's give and take with your actions, where you can either take a lot of actions that'll do a little bit of points, or you can really go for the big spots.
Yeah, and jump for the things you really want. Exactly right. And so I really like Tokaido. There are a couple of little, the advanced variations that you get given a player who has a special ability, such as every time you take an encounter card, take 2 of them. Every time that you leave an inn or you enter an inn, you get to take a random piece of a painting for free, right? Example. But it also means that character starts with a specific amount of gold. So you may start with 6 gold, you may start with 9 gold, or so on and so forth, all of this kind of stuff. So
did you play this with the family?
I have played this with the family. I also played it at one of our recent MacArthur board gamer nights, and I introduced 3 people to it. This is a game I like because you can play it in an hour. It can play up to 5 players, and the replayability of this game is it's very super, super relaxing. and it does give you that. It gets actually pretty intense when you're like going, I really want that spot, but if I go there, I don't know if Ralph or everyone is going to let me get to that spot. So you actually have to
Yeah, I
start
might
making
pitch
a
it from
decision.
you.
Yeah, exactly right. So we find that when I've played this game, I get so many people. The moment that this game clicks is the moment they go, "Well, what if I go there?
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean that Joel can go there?" Yes. And does that mean that Joel, because he's behind me, gets to get another turn before I have my second turn?
Mhm.
Yes. And they're like, "But I don't want Joel to have a second turn before me." And I went, "Well, that's the choice."
Yeah, I
That-
like games where it's very easy to see that a trade-off, that risk-reward
Yeah.
factor.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so this game it's also very unique because the game board is super long. So it's actually designed so you could actually play, you put the game board in front of everyone and you could actually play it all from one side if you really wanted to.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't normally work that way because when you're around the table, you just play with one person
Yeah.
the upside down. But it is a super long board because
So it's like a
this-
physical trail
Yeah.
sort of thing.
and then you can play it so like, hey, we're gonna do the full trek, which is we're gonna go up and back. That you could do
Oh,
that
okay.
as well. So
Okay.
there are all these
it's like
different
I park
things.
the car down here. We
Exactly
need to.
right, yeah. So there's a whole bunch of things. Look, I like Tokaido. I really think it's a great. There is a second version reprinting, and there's the reason why I've rebought it is because it is out now with a
Oh, you bought the second
the
version
second
of it?
edition.
The
Yeah, I bought the second edition. I've always actually really enjoyed Tokaido from playing it on Board Game Arena, and then
Oh, it's
when
on
I
there.
real-
Cool.
when I realized that when we went to PlayCon, they had a copy there for about $50. I picked it up. I'm like, yep, and I've played it about 4
That's
times since then.
sounds like good value. Though.
Yeah, it's great value. I highly recommend it. The art style is really, it's really well like contrasty. It's very,
Yeah, it looks
It's
beautiful.
not too
great.
over the top. It's just enough.
Yeah, and this is a perfect game where we can have a chat whilst we're doing it. Okay, so
Yeah.
I just
I
want to
need more games like that in my collection.
yeah,
I think.
and like this is one of those games that is not necessarily always going to be my first. I need to play this game, but it is certainly one of those games that is, I think, has a perfect demographic to play sometimes.
It's like a social filler.
Yeah,
type
exactly
thing,
right.
Yeah.
And it's good enough that we that they even got it got the duo treatment. So Tokaido Duo is now.
I have only played the duo version.
I have not played the duo version, so in a podcast to come up in the future, we are going to all play the duo version because
Okay.
currently Seven Wonders Duel I think is better than Seven Wonders. I think
Yes.
Splendor Duel is better than Seven Wonders.
Never played either.
Splendor Duel is 100% better than it, and I'm willing to bet that I think Tokaido Duo. I don't know if this will be the first game that I go.
I'm very
it may not be as
interested
good, but
to
it does
play-
look very interesting.
There's not a lot of mechanical differences to what you said, as opposed to you have 3 characters
Yep.
that specialize, as opposed to the spaces.
And you have 3 characters that are all going through different areas of the
So
board.
they're all doing this
I
sort of
see,
loop around the
okay.
board, and we'll roll 3 dice that match the characters.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then you
So it's kind of like CPUs. in
on
a
your
way, a little
turn,
bit.
yeah,
Yeah.
on your turn, you'll pick 2 characters to move, and I'll get the leftover.
Yeah,
And then as
okay.
it switches, so it's like
So-
Oh, that's cool.
yeah.
So you control 2 characters
Yeah,
each.
I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to doing a bit of a deep dive on having that one on a previous next podcast because
Yeah.
it's on my shelf of shame. It's right there. It's
Oh,
on my shelf
you've
of
got
shame.
you've got that.
I bought
okay.
Duo because I love Tokaido. I've always
Yeah.
thought it's a really
Yeah.
such a simple, such a great system.
Yeah.
Now I will say, the only negative is that it can feel like it's very point salady. It can feel just very like
So do you tally the points during the game?
you can
Yeah.
can also not.
Oh, okay.
Like you can just go, we're going to hide it until the end of the game. Now, if you do it like you can tally along the way, it can feel really disheartening if you're at the back and you're
Yeah,
not able to get any
yeah.
points.
Yeah.
But then also the flip side of that is if you do no point tallying and then right at the end you think you're doing really well, then all of a sudden you did really bad. That can be bad.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I always find it interesting when a game tallies the points at the end because it feels tense all the way, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
I always like that too. So
Also,
anyway,
you mentioned you play this at MacArthur Board
Yes.
Gamers. Typically, you can hear a band's playing in the distance.
Mhm.
I imagine they're just playing 500 miles as you're going up this track constantly.
actually, you
Yeah.
know, it was I 100%. You know, so when I wake up,
yeah,
yeah, I know I'm gonna be
just you kept requesting it.
exactly right. But play 500 miles. Anyway, so that was Tokaido. I just wanted to bring that one up because I really enjoyed Tokaido. It's one of those old classic games. It's 12 years old now. It's gotten the reprint, and I really think more people should play it. If you're looking for a light to medium weight game that you can just pull out, the fact that it plays at 5 players and it doesn't really change the length of the game is what brings me back to it because I'm always looking for like sometimes I have more than 4
Yeah.
players. I'm just like I just need that 5-player game.
I,
Tokaido fits perfectly.
I will recommend the game here that we have not covered yet on our podcast, but it fits the same gap.
Yep.
That is Flamecraft.
Yes.
Where everyone plays like cute little dragons, and you're like, oh, maybe my dragon will visit the cafe, or maybe I'll visit the bakery, and you get little power up rewards. But it sounds so similar to Tokaido in terms of that 45 minute to an hour filler social
And
element.
everyone also says
Yeah.
that Flamecraft, the tokens in
Oh,
Flamecraft
beautiful.
are A+. Like they're so good.
It's such
So
a great production. That
I
game.
agree. I haven't played it
Similar
either,
price
but
point
One
as
that
I
I
do
get
wanna
to play also.
Yeah,
Okay.
similar price point as well to this one.
Fantastic. Well, anyway.